Yeah? Okay, go ahead. Go pee-pee. Starting might be the hardest part of doing anything. If it fits! Hey everybody, it was a big paperwork week this week. We got a finalized script for Dup It, so now we're just breaking down the script, shot listing, trying to get locations, props, looking for actors, not a lot to show. And so I thought I would talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately, how difficult it is to actually start anything, especially something creative. And I say especially because that's what affects me the most. I've been starting a lot of big projects lately, the short film project, podcast, things that take a lot of time and a lot of effort. And I find that the more time and effort a project is gonna take, the bigger the pit in my stomach. That fight or flight feeling you get telling you to stop. It's not worth it, you don't have the time, it's not gonna turn out the way you want it to, you don't have the resources. And I think that happens because with time and with effort comes an implicit statement that says, I care about this. I think that this is or will be good. And if and when that thing fails, and more often than not you will fail, when that thing not only doesn't live up to other people's expectations but doesn't even live up to your own standards, that is a terrible feeling. I want to preface all of this by saying that I am no expert in starting things, but I have gotten a lot better at it over the years. And there are a few things that I do every time that I get an idea to start something new that I think would be useful to other people, so that more people can stop stopping and start starting. Number one, understand that you are making a statement. I care about this. I think this will be good. It took me a long time to realize how scared I was of those statements. Sincerity is hard. I don't know that it's any harder in the internet age, but it sure as hell hasn't made anything any easier. And even when I did start something and I didn't start the process with these sayings, I would end up apologizing for it the whole way through. Here it is, sorry, I know it's not any good, but now every time I'm about to start something, I say those things. I care about this, I think this will be good. And it may not sound like much, but just saying it out loud makes me genuinely consider it and be a little more honest with myself. Because sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes I start something not realizing that I'm doing it for the wrong reasons, whether it's to get views or because I feel like I'm supposed to. And whatever conclusion I come to, this helps me start projects with sincere effort and no apologies, and the intent to make something great. Number two, don't look for other people's opinions. Not yet. Criticism is super important and you should seek it out every step of the way, but you haven't even started yet. At this point, I tend to think that most of the time when you're reaching out for other people's opinions, you're looking for those people to just confirm a decision that you've already made. And if you're already telling yourself that this isn't good enough, it's not worth your time, I guarantee you can find someone who will confirm that for you. It doesn't feel like giving up if other people agree with you, right? And then there's the other side of the spectrum. People could love the idea. People could start giving you feedback immediately and kind of changing and messing with the idea before it even had a chance to form inside your head and turn into something that you never intended. It's been my experience that no project will ever work out if you aren't making the decision. Leave people out of it when you're trying to start something. Number three, force yourself to keep going or make something bad. Brute force can be a good thing. Whatever a fleshed out idea looks like, get there. Write the first page, finish an outline, do some research, whatever it looks like, do it. It's going to be bad. It will always be bad. It's gonna feel impossible, but you will see something in it, a new direction to take, a new perspective on it. You will see the spark of something that will drive you forward to do more. And that little tiny bit of momentum is ideally enough to get you going and keep you going. And what you don't want to do is, number four, do not leave it for a bit. This is fantastic, great advice when you're further along in the process, especially when you're stuck. You work on something for a long time, things get a little out of focus, so you leave it alone for a bit and then come back to it with fresh eyes and a new perspective. That is great, and that can absolutely be applied in the situation of just beginning something. Again, things aren't in focus yet, so maybe you take a step back, leave it alone for a little bit, and come at it with fresh eyes. The only danger in that, and holds especially true for me, is that you may never come back to it. Don't stop until you know you're all in or you've made the express decision to leave it. Trust me, there's nothing worse than remembering back to an old idea you had and thinking, damn, that really could have been something. Trust me. And number 5, tune out all the hate and the praise. Again, this is something you need to do throughout the entire process, and it is especially important when you start to put these things out into the world. But even at this point, people are going to ask you, this is really worth your time? Do you really think this is something you can accomplish? Good, kind, well-meaning people will say to you all the horrible, terrible things that you say to yourself inside your head. And you know what you can say to them? I care about this. I think this will be good. And if you say that without apology and without qualification, most people will support you, possibly even help you if they can. 99% of the people you meet in the world are just projecting their own insecurities onto you anyway, and so going into the world with kindness and confidence may even help to inspire those people to start something of their own. And again, other side of the spectrum, people are going to praise you and say how impressed they are with your hard work and your talent, and you need to ignore them more than the other people. I'm not sure if there's anything worse in this world for creativity than believing the praise and accolades other people bestow upon you. Bestow upon you. Fancy college word. Remember, you care about it and you think it's good. That's what matters at this point. And again, a huge caveat, criticism is so important and you should be seeking it out all the time. That's a whole nother video where I talk about how I've learned to get better at taking criticism. I need to get a little bit better at it before I make a video about that though. Now you just have to go out there and create something. It's easy, right? Right? That's it for this week. The Complete Unknowns have a brand new podcast. Links in the description. We are also now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We're everywhere, except for Stitcher. We'll get there, though. Go subscribe. Go leave a review, unless you hate it. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends who need to stop doing nothing and start something. Follow all the social channels and do the things. And I'll see you next week.